Boo. Here I am. Rock you like a small wave on Lake Michigan. Disco Jesus! May this artwork be truly blessed to us and our souls, and may we be truly thankful. And may truly be truly, Disco Jesus, thank you. I drink out of your head now. Welcome, Cave Dweller. Welcome to another fine episode of Awesomeness. This is where we drink the ambrosia of awesome sauce. This is where we remove our sweaters because of the heat of the moment. The heat between me and you, between me and this painting. The heat of awesomeness. Let's grease the wheels of awesome with this video on how to be awesome with painting. Cave Dweller, this is a painting. This is a lighter. This is a candle of Senora Dulac. Senora Dulac, thank you for your inspiration in bringing the lake to Milwaukee. This is a candle I dedicate to Saint Expedite. Saint Expedite, make us expeditious in our endeavors to create awesomeness and hide us from our own tendency to procrastinate. Saint Expedite, thank you very much. I am interested in saints now. I'm developing my own saint. This is Santo CIA. You can see the Santo CIA. It says, and ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. He's standing on the equinox. In his left hand, he's holding a marionette. In his right hand, a dagger. And this foot is on the earth, or the crossroads. Half in the crossroads, half in the nebula. When I say nebula, I'm talking about darkness. He's a figure that moves between them. He's somewhat of a psychopath. He's manipulating things behind your back. Santos CIA, let us know the truth so that the truth may set us free. And help us manipulate our enemies and take over the planet in the name of awesomeness. I keep telling you, we gotta ring up the awesome. We gotta dial it in. This is the testament of Solomon, possibly the wisest human being on earth ever to have existed. Second, only to God. Jesus wasn't even as wise as Solomon. Otherwise, the Bible would have said specifically that he was. But it did not, I'll have you know. Right? In fact, Jesus went out of his way to diss Solomon. He's like, look at the grass. See that field that hasn't been mowed for 3 weeks? That's more beautiful than Solomon in all of his finest raiment. And God doesn't do a thing to lift a finger to take care of it. How much more will he lift a finger to take care of you? Or something like that. So here we are. This is a painting I'm working on. I got some schmutz over here. I don't know how that happened. I'm almost done with these walls. These walls have gone through many layers. This green now must match this edge of the wall because it's one wall. So I'm going to darken that up a smidge. And I'm running out of... We are in day 11 past the opening up of lockdown and freedom reigning, Cave Dweller. So far, freedom is not reigning. We are still behind those non-protective glass shields that make the customer service agent inaudible at all grocery stores. Whole Foods, a.k.a. Amazon.com, is still refusing cash. It's in their best interest to refuse cash and go to a cashless society. They are Amazon. They are taking over everything. Is this what I'm looking for? I dropped a cap earlier and I lost it. I don't think this is it, though. It's not going to fit. I am now looking for green. I got some green. I'm looking for white. I keep losing my white. That's okay. Instead of white, I'm going to use light portrait pink because it's mostly white, but it also has a tint of red in it. So when I add this phthalo green, that will subdue the rockin' brilliance of phthalo. Phthalo's brightest color known to man and beast. Alright, this is almost perfect. Well, okay, not quite. Let's add some more light portrait pink. Discovered a new podcaster this last week. His name is Jay Dyer. Jay Dyer is erudite, well-read. He's one of those people that can read these books that put me to sleep. I mean, they literally send my mind on vacation. For instance, Carol Quigley's Tragedy and Hope. The elitist who just said how they're taking over and planning and social engineering. He just gave away his plan because they don't care if we know it or not. In fact, he was bragging. It's a book of braggery. 1,000 pages or so, and it's dense reading. And when I say dense, I mean it's the kind of writing that sends your mind on vacation. Unlike Mark Twain. Unlike P.G. Wodehouse. I'm listening to P.G. Wodehouse on a audiobook. Greatest thing I ever did in my life. P.G. Wodehouse. He has a way about him. Able to build scenes and build hijinks, and his characters are hilarious. The dialogue is phenomenal. And his Jeeves and Wooster stories are particularly noteworthy because they're written as if Bertie Wooster is telling it, and he speaks in an antiquated British slang. It's so great. It's the best. Highly recommended. More highly recommended than all those shows I've been binging on Netflix this last week. All of them from Japan. Almost all of them animated. The only one that wasn't animated was a thing called Switched. It's about two high school girls that one commits suicide, and in her suicide she forces their souls to switch bodies. So it's about the antics and the tragedy of that event. It's great! It's great because the Japanese culture is so wonderful. Everybody is so polite. I love when they nod and go, I love that. It's so great. Anyway, I recommend that. I mean, it's not bad. But I don't recommend watching Netflix overall, especially TV shows. You just get started and then, this one was only 6 episodes, so that means 6 hours down the toilet. What about the ones that are 20 episodes? Even though they're half-hour episodes, that's still 10 hours down the crapper. Oh, if I only could get that time back. Why is this? That's time I should have been drawing my comic. Working on my comic, Team Cave Dweller. I'm working on a comic. The comic I'm working on is The World of Milwaukee 2. It's actually called the Milwaukee 2 Epic Cycle. Should probably have a better title than that. All I want to do is just get this wall to somewhat match that wall. Doesn't have to be perfect. Come down here a little. Get rid of that. This was originally the interior of Blanc's office, and I don't want it to be that anymore. I want it to be more of this wall continuing over. And then Blanc's office, of course, is in this. Just using the same color, but I'm adding water to it to make it transparent. Even though it's almost impossible to make white transparent, I do my best. I love when the Japanese people in the cartoons say, "I'll do my best." When I read the subtitles, I feel like that's what they're saying. It's hard to separate and hear the Japanese as you're reading the English. But if you do it, you can catch on to some words and things and learn a new language. It's how language is acquired. Repetition. So I guess it's not a complete waste, but it's hard to focus on. I think what I'm going to start doing is watching Japanese news live on Periscope. And then maybe someday I'll get to become Japanese. Okay, so we got that. Blanc's desk, you can see, is black. You can't even tell that that's a character there. Well, that's interesting. The light. Oh, that's just a reflection. But it's interesting if I could. Okay, so I'm looking at a reflection here. Okay, I might have to add some bright light to that. Unfortunately, I can't find my white, so that's going to be difficult. Well, cave dweller. Oh, I forgot my shticks. We started here, but now we are here. And when it gets to here, I'm going to tell you about my sponsor. And when it gets to here, we're going to do something else. I don't know. And when it gets back to there, it's going to be all over. And it'll be sayonara sucker. I'm sorry, team. That's just the way it is. Saints preserve us. I'm looking for a club of YouTube live stream people that can show me the ropes. So if you're one of them, let me know. Are there any comments going on here? Let's see what we got. No, nothing. That's all right. I'm here for you. Team Cable, I am here for you. I'm so here for you that if I wasn't here, you would not be you. Because I'm here for you. I'm just saying whatever's coming to the top of my head, as you can tell. No, I keep wanting to use this as gray. You can see it's poorly packaged. This is actually Goddess Blue. But I don't want that. I want a gray. So I'm going to use one in here. If I had some white, I really wish I had that. Ah! I found my white. I don't have much left. I'm going to have to go to Black Market R Us and pick up some acrylic paint. One thing I love about the shakedown, when I say shakedown, I'm referring to the lockdown, which is actually just fake. It's manipulation. I'm telling you, it's manipulation. But what do I know? Oh, I was telling you about the new podcaster that I've been listening to. His name is Jay Dyer. He's got some good information. He reads the hard books, and it's called Jay's Analysis, I think, or Jay Dyer's Analysis. I don't like him as a person because I think he's an arrogant douchebag. I'm going to say it plainly rather than diplomatically. I respect him, and I respect his work, but I don't think he's kind. Because everybody who disagrees with him is an idiot or a dummy. He calls us names, does impressions. Also, he's full of himself. He loves his own jokes. He's really good at impressions, by the way. Very good. I love impressions and impersonations, which he's very good at. So that limits his credibility. Also, he's an Orthodox Christian, which means everything is seen through that lens. And he's not very critical about his orthodoxy, which is surprising for how well studied he is and how well researched. He reads the source texts, but he doesn't even understand how the Bible got here or where it came from. He should listen to a few episodes of The Bible Geek. He's still taking things literally. This should be whiter. There we go. So, but I recommend it. He's got some interesting views on this shakedown, lockdown thing that we're in. The biggest thing for it, the biggest argument is that it's all based on what the media tells us. And all they have to do is put somebody in a lab coat on the screen and have them mumble something, and we're like, oh, it's the truth. A scientist said it. Because we think scientists are the bastions of truth, the bastions of facts, and facts are truth. But in fact, facts are not truth. Facts are merely facts. We have a distorted understanding of what truth is because of the scientific revolution and empiricism. Truth is not empiricism. Empiricism is how we get to know and observe the world. But it's not the complete understanding of the world. So that's maybe too light. Now I need some of that green over here. Ooh, nuts! Okay. I guess I'm not even close to being done with that wall. Excuse me, I had to crack my neck. Now, this is ultramarine blue, that otherwise known as Goddess Blue. I'm going to mix up my own green here. And when you're mixing your own green, use, for instance, this is azo yellow. Well, it's called azo yellow orange. Let's get something better. This is cadmium yellow medium pure. I believe when they say pure because it's not a hue, it's not a mixture. And this is Hansa yellow medium. Whoop. Can you tell the difference? So the one on the right skews orange and the one on the left skews green. Just ever so slightly. Which means one is cooler than the other. And since I've squirted some out on accident, I'm going to take this one that's not cool. Where's my lid? Is that it? It makes a subdued hue then when you mix it. If I would take the yellow that skews green, it would make a brighter green. Of course, ultramarine skews everything dingy anyway. But mixing it with white. It's gray. They used to love Goddess Blue because it was so bright. They would use it only for the Virgin. Alright, this is very gray. Got some Phthalo. Phthalo. I love you all, Phthalo. You're only a day away. Oops. Okay, there we go. That's not more like it. That's too much, but whatever we got. I'm gonna use a big brush now, so I'm mixing it with water, and I want to cover a lot of territory here. Doing some optical mixing. Keeping the... Wow, I want to keep that pink. So I'm not going over everything. I started to with this streak, but I really like how leaving it open and just using optical mixing. Which also means I'm using less paint. Which is fine, which is good. It is right and good. Team Cave Dweller, are you afraid of shakedown lockdown? You should not be. You should not fear. Who's telling you to fear? The scientist in the lab coat paraded before you by NPR. Everything NPR says is a lie. Start with that. Often it's a lie of omission. Often it's a lie in tone of voice, in how the information is presented. Or a combination of the two. NPR never tells the full story. They have an agenda they're trying to get you at. Oh, one thing, Jay Dyer was interviewing this guy, an Orthodox Christian guy who used to work for the State Department. And this guy says the mission, or is this one of the elitists? And I mix these up. I mix up because I watch a whole bunch of them at once, on YouTube, or listen to them. There's what they call the exporting of Americanism, the elitists do, is really this crap culture that we have, which includes, but is not limited to, gender dysphoria and gender bendery, which is being pushed on us and taught to us in grade school now. Being brainwashed to believe that biology is irrelevant. I mean, we've already swallowed the pill, the hard pill that, what do you call it? Ethics and morals are irrelevant. You know, we can't talk about morals. We have to talk about values. Disco Jesus, how much do you value me? Enough to go on a dance? Will you go to the Sadie Hawkins dance with me, Disco Jesus? I think because of your girly haircut, you should be asking me that. Well, whatever. Back to the painting. Let's get some work done. Shall we? This desk is black. So I'm going to make it strictly black. These are things on my mind. What's on your mind? Tell me what's on your mind, Team Cave Dweller.
P.G. Woodhouse, I was about to tell you, I told you how awesome he is. He's the greatest. And I'm also listening to Jordan Peterson's book. And there's a world of difference between Peterson reading his book and an actor reading P.G. Woodhouse. The actor knows how to read in an interesting manner. He knows how to present words. Peterson does not. He's natural at it. He's learned how to speak by being a classroom teacher. So he's comfortable being in front of people and talking extemporaneously. So if you watch his talks, they're great. But when you listen to him read his own book, which I give him the benefit of the doubt because he said in one of his talks, and I'm reading it, and I know, because I wrote it, I know how to enunciate the sentences. Well, he does, but it's always in this monotone of the same pace, every word, no pauses, monotone. I can't focus on it. It's like reading a source text. Also, it's in that ponderous academy ease, where every little detail needs to be explained. And I mean, that's part of it. That's part of the research, right? I mean, that's what we pay academics to do, to go into the minutia of all their thinking. It's not necessary for the average reader like myself or you. So, but I'm slogging through it. It's 30 hours of listening. P.G. Woodhouse, it's a book of short stories. Each short story is about a half hour. Oh, so great. I was listening to one today. It was the artistic career of Cuthbert. It's so great. It's about how, this is the plot. Bertie Wooster's in New York. His buddy comes up to him, who's an artist, starving artist, and he brings a girlfriend with him. And he's like, I want to marry this girl. But my uncle won't like her because she's in the theater. Jeeves says, here's what you do. Have her write a book about birds because he loves birds. The uncle loves birds. And then have her cite him all the time, and that'll ingratiate him to her, and then you can propose. Well, it works like a charm. She visits the uncle, and she marries the uncle. So now, Cuthbert is all upset, and he's in the outs, and the next thing Bertie Wooster knows is not only did he get screwed over by his girlfriend and his uncle, but now his uncle is hiring him to paint a portrait of the child that came into existence because of his former girlfriend. He puts his heart and soul into the painting, and he creates a monster out of this baby. The uncle comes to see it. He's like, what? That? I've been paying you a stipend all this time to be an artist, and that's your art? Long story short, cut out of the will, and Jeeves says to him, look, you're obviously a better humor artist than you are artist. It's where you excel. Why don't you put this in the comics? And so he starts a comic strip. He becomes a cartoonist. Cartooning saves the day. It always saves the day. Cartooning always saves the day. There's never been a time when cartooning didn't save the day. In fact, let me tell you a story. There were two airships that the Navy had that could launch aircraft. And one day in an exhibition to President Roosevelt, they skimmed the ship that he was on. He was on a ship in the Navy, and they skimmed it and they dropped a newspaper because they knew he loved Dick Tracy and he didn't want to miss a day. So they delivered Dick Tracy to him. And Dick Tracy saved the day. Cartoons, comics, they save the day all the time. What am I looking at here? So this is Montgomery Blanc's face, hand. I gotta bring that out a little more. I'm gonna have to give him a dark outline. I didn't want to put any color in here. I was just gonna do a line drawing. I forgot about that. Oh well, I guess that's not working out. Maybe I'll go over it with a glaze of white once I get my white from the half-breasted Amazons delivering these days. Okay, so here we go. This can even go up like this. Goes down. Here's his back. How's that look? Does that look right? No, it's too big. Does that look right? And his head This is a cartoonist's trick. I suppose it's an artist's trick too. You have the character looking into the painting rather than off the edge of the painting, because their face is telling you where to look. So he's looking at her, even though they're not in the same physical space. Montgomery Blanc, this character with a square head, is a character that I created while I was in the Navy. How does somebody hold a telephone? Sort of do it like this, thumb. Telephones were big back in the day. And they could not live stream on YouTube. In fact, mine still can't because I have less than 1,000 followers. If you want to be legit, you can get in on the bottom floor and you can start following me when I'm still legit, before I've sold out. In fact, here's a little message for you. Join me, won't you? Join me. Oh, hey, you can follow me on Patreon and give me money. Which there's really no purpose. I have to be honest, there's no purpose to that yet. Although my patrons did get my book. They got a copy of my book, but I'm with the surprises and prizes, I'm still working on it. When I'm not binging on Netflix. Now let's put this floor back in. Got the wall. Now I want the floor. I'm going to use violet oxide and the teeny tiny brush. This is the edge of the platform, comes down. This is great. This violet oxide is purplish, so it goes really great with this yellow that's underneath. Making all my strokes go in the direction of the floorboards. So that's eventually what this will be. Another great thing is that it's transparent enough that it's leaving the lines of the original portion of the painting that was there. Forget the sidage. Some interesting things going on the sidage, so I'm going to see if I can leave as much of them as possible. Just get rid of this excess paint. Been delivering my book to galleries and magazines, and all I can think of is what an undeserving hypocrite I am. I have no business standing next to any of these artists. And then I see some of the art that these galleries hang. I'm like, holy mackerel. If they're hanging that and they're not hanging my work, what is going on? I just have to get out there and let people see me. Another thing that's wrong with the art world, besides the fact that they don't see me, is that they have this heady academic idea of what art is. When I say heady, I mean their head is in the clouds. It's not in reality. It's all in theory and social justice warrioring, which used to be just called social justice. And before that, it was called being nice. Oh, hey, look at this. It's this time. It's time for a commercial. I guess this episode is brought to us by
Senora Dulac, the Lady of the Lake. May she be forever blessed. There's her head. And Disco Jesus. Thank you, Disco Jesus and Lady of the Lake. And may your mystical marriage and union in this session of painting bring us all closer to the brink of evolution. And remember, when it all comes crashing down, it will rise again. You might not be alive, after the riots, but it will rise again. Thank you, Jesus, for rising again. You're the original Phoenix, Daddy-O. Dustode! Now then.
this wall. That's all right. That's fine. I don't care about that. This is Blanc. There's a window. This is him in his suit. I should get that hand in there better. Because we don't really need to perfect things. I just need to be able to see what they are at this point and then decide what's important and what is less important. One of the tricks is that you give less details to the things that are less important. And in this painting, Blanc is important. So, his hand.
There we go. How's it looking? Okay, it looks like a hand. Good. It's hard to tell when it's so small. I should have a close-up cam. Someday I will. That day when I have a producer. Oh, speaking of producers, I was involved in a couple Toastmasters meetings this weekend over the robot, where you are, Robotville. And people don't understand the relation to media. We're so used to just watching the screen. We don't know how we appear. We don't know how to compose a picture. Like you can see my head is probably too close. No, I got headroom. I have plenty of headroom. I have max headroom. Composition. You can see over the months that I've built this set out of nothing. This is just a piece of cloth. Prior to building the set, I had too much distractions in the background. Maybe there's too many distractions now. What with the goddess and the candle to the deity of the sainthood. Santo CIA. I can't wait. I can't wait for him to become a real saint. My point is something. Let's get back to this. This is a stand that has a leg. Oh, I see. Okay. I painted on the leg partially, and I shouldn't have. I couldn't tell that it was a leg. Okay, that's a little better. Now then, we got that, we got this weird rug. I'm afraid to attack that rug because I'm not sure what to do with it. It's a shag rug. It doesn't have to be a shag rug, I guess. The original apartment that this is, it used to have a shag rug, but it never had a chair like that, and the dining room table was actually in the dining room. All right, Blanc, Blanc's hand is there. Okay, what I'm gonna do. Use the burnt umber. Okay, so he has floorboards as well. Make his floorboards go this way.
We're at the point in the painting where I'm just sort of putzing around. I'm afraid to touch it, so I don't get a lot done. But cumulatively, this actually adds up to something. Let's see if we can pan my Dorado in here a little better. She is Hispanic, so I'm going to use raw sienna and water over that black that's there. Give her some olive tone in it. Add some water, make it a little transparent, maybe? Let's see, maybe not. And I'm also going to do it over this. Optical mixing. Her face. Okay, so she's wearing... I guess she's wearing a t-shirt of some kind. We've got a neck here. In fact, I might even just here. I may even just go over this with black again. I want her to be. If he's not, well, there's things that I want, and then there's things that it becomes. I just have to let go. I have to let go of my desire. Now that is a wad of meat. So let's put the wad of meat in. It's the cartoon meat. Her hand is actually trapped in another dimension. So for cartoon meat, I'm going to use cadmium red. Straight out of the tube. Look at this. I got quinacridone red, quinacridone magenta, alizarin crimson. Oh, there it is, cadmium red. Quinacridone red light. I got a lot of quinacridone. I love quinacridone. It's just because I get to say quinacridone. All right, that is red meat color on my palette. And it is very bright, so I'm going to subdue it with some violet oxide that I already have there. And we put it on. Maybe I subdued it too much, dude. I don't know. Now her hand is over here somewhere. I want to put that in. Just as a reference. So by putting her hand in, then that'll give us an idea of what we're looking at here. Because you'll be able to see that this is an actual figure. Oh, I should put her feet in, eh? Yeah, let's do it. All right, so when you're sitting cross-legged, your feet go... kind of like that. Maybe those are too big feet. We should give her some dainty little girl feet. All right, that's better. Get rid of the monster feet. Okay. See, they're not turning out because I'm painting over the Kirby crackle. Oh, that was such a mistake. I don't think I'll ever be able to make that work. That looks great. Well, her hand goes... Goodbye. Bye-bye. Her hand is right about here. No, our hand is over here. Whoops. It's one oops after another, Team Cave Dweller. Learn to love it. And now that's going to have to dry before I put anything on, but I'm going to put something on anyway because that's what I do. So this is the knee, so it goes up like this. And I put her thumb on the wrong side of her hand. Okay, that's what I do. That's why I get the big bucks being an artist, and you get the little bucks being an observer and a voyeur. You voyeuristic. Oh, so one thing I was telling these Toastmasters people is that they have to pay attention to some things because they're their own producer. And I would pass that information on to you as well. You are your own producer. Every time you go on Zoom, you are producing TV. And we'll make the thumb go up a little bit like that. And then, so that means this is the big fingy. This is the little fingy. Right. How does that look? Maybe I should make her thumb go out. Does that work? I don't know. We'll see. We will see. Okay, then we got that. Got the pentagram on the bed. Can't really tell that's what it is, though. Put some candles in there. Candles will be red. Okay, candles will be flesh tone. Here we go. And we got one down here. Good, that does a lot. That does a little bit. A lot and a little. And I guess I'm going to be done with this one for now. I don't want to be done, though. I want to talk more about Santo CIA. Look, he's got an eagle head. You know what I'm saying? This is the seal of the CIA. And that's their actual motto. And then there's just like a shield here. But I've incorporated the puppet and the knife. I keep wanting to say Chris. Oh, and there's like discs over his hands, where this is going to be just a line drawing over black, because the CIA doesn't know its left hand, know what its right hand is doing. Montgomery Blanc. You can't see through the wall. Building out there. That building in. U.S. Bank building, like right over his head. U.S. Bank building doesn't look like this anymore. They've covered up these wonderful windows with stupid signage. Because you can't just let your building be your signature. You gotta cover it up with stupid ass logos. The world we live in sucks, man. There's so much suckage going on in Earth today. In the world. The only one talking about love today is the preacher. And he says something. And we have some buildingage. And then there's these windows. Alright, Team Quavador, I'm wrapping it up because otherwise it gets too long, and it's already too long. It's too long, and you've heard too much, and you probably just want to run away. If you've lasted this long, you've learned many things today. Many things you probably didn't want to know about me and the way I think about you and the way I think about what you think. And hopefully we're still friends. Because if I met you, I wouldn't bring any of this stuff up in person because people can't handle it. People can't handle having anybody disagree with them, especially when their opinions are like mine. But anyway, so I hope you'll take that with a grain of salt. We'll see you next time. We're still friends. I still love you, and I'm still here to make you a better artist.